In a universe where Aunt May died in Uncle Ben's place, Spider-Man reveals his identity to Ben, and extremely angry, he goes after the killer in search of revenge. A little later, Peter finds the shooter and throws him away with a punch, trapping his gun. But as soon as he sees the thief's face and realizes that it was the same man he let escape, Peter becomes so angry that he starts breaking everything around him, scaring the shooter so much that he falls out the window alone, dying from the fall. However, it is at this moment that Uncle Ben appears to try to calm his grandson down. And since the police were already going up to see who pushed the thief from up there, Ben tells Peter to run away and ends up being arrested in his place. Days passed, but Peter could not stop blaming himself for May's death and Ben's arrest. And because of this, Peter decides to abandon the Spider-Man mask once and for all, which ended up frustrating Jonah Jameson since Spider-Man's disappearance was receiving more attention in the news than his son, who had just died as a hero, since Spider-Man was not there to save him. As the months went by, Jameson began to defame Spider-Man so much in his news that there came a time when Peter could not take it anymore and became deeply revolted. He goes to the Bugle to confront Jonah. Peter then threatens to release him from the window and asks why he was talking so badly about him if he had never done anything. And as soon as Jameson tells him about his son, who died, Spider-Man says that everyone has lost someone important. He leaves while leaving his warning to stop the attacks, leaving Jameson crying on the floor. After that night, Peter ends up having a lot of difficulty controlling his anger, which ended up leading him to be sent to reform school, where Peter began to suffer bullying from Flash. Now afraid of doing something stupid, Peter decides to run away from the reformatory and starts living on the streets, sleeping wherever he can and stealing to make a living, even facing his plastic villains, but this time only for the money reward. However, after he defeats the Green Goblin and sees him receive psychiatric help instead of being arrested, Peter has a fit of rage and decides to free Uncle Ben from prison. Spider-Man invades the cell and tells Ben to escape with him, but to his surprise, he refuses. Peter then begins to break down and says he was lost, also revealing the guilt he had for being able to stop May's killer before and not having done anything. Ben comforts Peter by saying that he had no way of knowing what was going to happen, but he also says that they both made their choices, and it was their obligation to face the consequences, and that this was called responsibility. Ben also says that he spoke to the Watsons and they agreed to take care of Peter until Ben got out of prison, letting his nephew choose whether he wanted to return to society or not. Peter then listens to his uncle and tries to live a better life, managing to finish school and go to college, eventually appearing as Spider-Man when it was most necessary. And once Ben is finally released from prison, the two form a team and start fighting crime together, helping Peter finally become a true hero.